Good Shabbos. Okay, Baruch Adonai Yosef Shabbos v'Kadosh Yosef v'Maran L'Chai Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Shalom Kol Yivro. My friend Moshe saw my video on YouTube. He's not on Facebook. He saw my video on YouTube. Told me he agrees with everything I said. And I just want to add a point that he put emphasis on. First of all, he's an Orthodox Jew. He's Shomer Shabbos, Shomer Bris, Shomer kosher. He's my rabbi, you know, my friend Moshe that I went to Uman with. Anyways, he was saying that he agrees with me 100% that the state should be secular. And we shouldn't pretend we're religious. Like, he said, of course, the buses should run on Shabbos, and the rabbinate has to get out of the politics, you know? Because you have a lot of like false rabbis involved in Israeli politics, and they shouldn't be involved in politics. For example, like, I'm saying, I know someone who got stuck in the state of Israel because a rabbi put out a thing against him, like the rabbinate. It was like rabbis from America, I believe from Lakewood, were working with the rabbinate here, and they got him locked in Israel. Like, he couldn't go back to America. He's not Israeli. He came to Israel, and then he couldn't leave. He couldn't leave because rabbis in Lakewood. Like, dude, what the heck, you know? Like, now you can argue on whether he deserved to be locked. Like, I personally know a little bit of the story, not too much, and I don't think he did anything wrong, the guy. I think there was a conspiracy against him, and I believe in such conspiracies because I've been involved in them. I've had rabbis with my parents and my community go against me for no reason and try to take my kid and tell people not to help me. If someone was going to buy me an RV, they said don't buy him an RV. You know what I'm saying? They wanted me homeless. They wanted me. So I'm saying, I know there's such thing as conspiracies, and I believe my friend was also involved in such a conspiracy. And they had him locked in the state of Israel, like he was in jail. He couldn't go back. He couldn't go back home to America because rabbis didn't let him. And it's like, why do rabbis have so much power? Rabbis shouldn't have that power. We're not a religious state. And you know what? In fact, it's not even allowed to establish like a Jewish state. And at this point, I'm not going to fight with you and say, oh, we're not allowed to have a Jewish state. I'll say, you know what? Fine, you want to have a Jewish state? Have a Jewish state. But it should be completely secular because it's hypocritical to make a Jewish state and have it be a religious state. Because it's actually forbidden to establish a Jewish state. We're not allowed to have a Jewish army and a Jewish state before the Messianic era. And that was accepted by everyone. Literally 100 years ago, no one argued on that. It's only today that we already have a Jewish state, so they want to make it kosher, so they try to figure out ways to say why it's okay. But 100 years ago, there was no rabbi that would tell you you're allowed to have a kosher, you're allowed to have a Jewish state. So I'm not telling you to destroy the Jewish state. Once you have a Jewish state, fine, you got to do what you got to do. But don't make it religious because that's hypocritical. The whole thing is going against the religion. So if you want to have it anyway, like, dude, at least let it be secular. Like, you should not have rabbis running the country. No, you should have secular Jews running the country. You know? No? I don't know. Honestly, I'm not supporting any rabbis being involved in politics. When I see these Haredim, you know, getting involved in politics, it bothers me. I'd rather have secular people. Like, a guy like Ben Gvir, by the way, I'm not saying I support him or not. I'm not against him being in politics so much, because he's not really, like, if he was in Lakewood, they wouldn't consider him from, like, I'm not saying he's not religious. I'm just saying, like, the ultra-Orthodox don't consider him religious, you know? You can call me out and say, oh, I'm full of shit, but I know, I know how they look at people. If you wear a yarmulke that's not their yarmulke, they wouldn't eat your kosher. Like, if a typical guy from Lakewood showed up to Ben Gvir's house, they wouldn't eat the kosher, they wouldn't eat the food, you know? They would say, we don't trust him. I'm just saying, I know how the Orthodox work. They don't consider people like Ben Gvir to be religious. So, I'm just saying, it doesn't bother me that a guy like Ben Gvir is involved in politics. It bothers me when a guy from Bnei Brak is involved in politics. Cool? Any comments? You can put them down below. L'chaim, l'chaim.